Let's see. Can you both hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. We'll take up file 2020-56960. Danielle Fuller and Alex Kenny both are here via Zoom. This is a day and time separate hearing on Ms. Fuller's motion. Have the two of you had a chance to come to any kind of agreement on this?
No.
No. All right. Both raise your right hands. Both raise your right hand and both swear or affirm any testimony given this cause to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, why don't you tell me what you're requesting then and why?
I'm requesting we kind of have everything written out and not going by so much the reasonable parenting time, and that is because it doesn't always follow mine or Alex's schedule, and then sometimes we have discussed it before, like over the winter break. For Christmas break, it was discussed that I would get the first part of break and he would have second part, but then the day before this was supposed to happen, he switched it and decided we were going by the reasonable parenting time. Now, I try and work with him. I give him fair notice on everything, and I let him know, hey, this is when I have my other kids. This is when, can we please switch it around so that way I can have all the kids at one time to celebrate things or stuff like that. And he just doesn't work with me. There is no communication. There's no co-parenting. He doesn't go to conferences. He has told me that he does not feel the need that he needs to be a part of it because he does not have any custody. He has told me that he's not able to seek out medical attention for Carter because I have sole custody, which I've tried to tell him that is not true. I've been told they will not give him over-the-counter medications that doctors have prescribed. So I just want to go through and make sure everything is in writing. So there's no more back and forth. There's no us trying to work things out because it's not going to happen.
All right, and sir, do you agree with that?
No, because I was going by the reasonable parenting time, which this year would have been my second half of break per the Newaygo County parenting time. And she argued saying it was her half. No, the second half was mine per the Reasonable Parenting Time Act, which states in our custody thing, if we cannot agree, we have to go by that, which I was going by. The conferences, I can't always make them. I work construction. So if I can't make it, I can't make it. There's not much I can do about it. And let's see what about prescriptions. If the doctor prescribed it, why isn't it an actual prescription and still over the counter? If a doctor is going to prescribe it, you can get a prescription for it and get it.
Because insurance doesn't always cover it.
Okay.
All right, I mean, she laid out all these things in her motion. You got a copy of the motion in front of you?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you agree with any of them?
The only one I don't agree with is the winter break schedule.
All right, so you agree with all the rest, sports, school supplies.
We already
4th of July, spring break, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, summers, medical attention, over-the-counter prescriptions. The other parent will take the child, school, or you agree with all that stuff?
The only one that I wanted, well, not really wanted, would be Christmas or the winter break schedule, because that is one, confusing because that's a lot to do. Two, I don't feel the need Carter should be in a car on even years 6 times over Christmas break. That's a lot.
Well, this is
count it
why
out, that's Danielle, can I finish? That is way too much to ask for. 6 times to change a kid in 2 weeks. I don't agree with that. Halloween, I don't do nothing for Halloween. So if I don't have them, I don't have them. I don't celebrate Halloween. So other than that, I agree with the rest. Sports, we split half the sports. well, tournament cost. He did T-ball. The only reason I did not split half of the equipment is because she got it and I asked for a receipt so I could know I was paying half and she could not give me the receipt. So I did not provide half of that because she couldn't provide a receipt to show me how much she spent. Wrestling, she told me she would cover the initial cost, which was $50, and we've split every tournament since. On my weekends, I pay. On her weekends, she pays.
Your Honor, I decided to cover wrestling because it was an argument that on Friday nights they do duels through the school. It's kind of their special thing to do for the kids instead of tournaments. And he was telling me that Carter, if it was his weekend, Carter would not go, and because he could not afford the gas. And then the winter break schedule, the reason why I'm asking it for that way is because in odd years, per our previous agreement, Alex gets Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day. I mean, like he gets the overnight. So I figured it's easier for him to take him Christmas Eve night and have him in through the first of the year versus this back and forth like it is in the parenting time in our previous order. So I would take him the day school lets out through Christmas Eve till 8 p.m. on odd years. And odd years. And then he would get from Christmas Eve night at 8 p.m. until the first of the year. In even years, I would get him Christmas Day, except for I would get Christmas Eve. I get Christmas Eve, and then we switch again on Christmas Day. So yeah, he does get kind of switched around with Christmas and Christmas Day on even years, but that is because of the way I'm trying to make it work for Alex, with him saying that he can't afford gas to come all the way to Kent City to do these things for Carter. So I was trying to get less transportation on his years that he has Christmas through Christmas Eve.
So if you just do it the way the policy says, it's only 4 exchanges for the whole winter break. You exchange, well, maybe, depending on whose year it is, on what, the day school gets out. And then you exchange at noon on Christmas Day. And then you exchange at noon on New Year's Day. And then depending on what year it is, you may exchange before the child goes back to school, because we have it broken up into 3 segments. The first part is from the day school gets out until noon on Christmas. The second part is noon on Christmas to noon on New Year's. And the third part is any time left over until school starts. That's only 3, maybe 4 exchanges at the most for that whole break.
And what I'm suggesting,
I don't see why that's not more beneficial than what you're proposing.
well, what
That
sorry, I'm so sorry. The reason why is because
you're guaranteed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day every other year, and one party doesn't get shafted out of a majority of time. We used to have just one exchange. The exchange was, I can't remember if it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, whenever it was the day school got out until that day. And then it was from that day until school started back up. So there was only one switch during the break, but school started getting out later and later. They were getting out on like the 22nd. So the first parent was getting like the 22nd through the 25th, maybe 3 days. And then the other parent was getting close to 2 weeks. And you would think it would work out every other year, but it turned out it wasn't. So we made it more equitable this way, with the 7-day block in the middle, and then usually more than 7 days if you add up the time on either end. But they guaranteed that the person with less time usually had no less than 7 days over that winter break. But I don't even understand what you wrote here. I don't think.
I didn't word it very well. Basically, the other reason why I'm asking this is due to my other children that I have. What the reasonable parenting time doesn't match my parenting time with my older 2 children. And Alex knows this, and I tried to work it out with him. So even years, what I'm asking is actually to have him from the 23rd, which is when they normally go on break, until 10 a.m. on the 25th, which is his Christmas for even years. He gets them from 10 a.m. Christmas Day to 10 a.m. the 26th. And then I would have them until school resumes. So that's only 2 exchanges. And then even years, I mean, odd years, he gets the second half of the break. So it's one exchange. It's Christmas Eve night, and then he has them until I have to get him to go back to school.
Yeah, but in even years, right here, you say you have them from the 23rd to the 1st.
Right,
except for 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. from the 25th to the 26th. They get out of school, which we just said, right around the 22nd. That's one day to your 7, 8.
No, you would have you've had the first part of the break. I wouldn't get him. Okay, this last year, they actually got out on the 17th. If I remember correctly. They got out on the 17th. They were out a week before Christmas. Well, and I'm pulling up their school calendar because I had it right here.
17th was a Saturday. I don't know where your kids go to school. I know Fremont, which is where mine do, got out on the 21st.
Penn City was a week early.
Penn City.
So their last day of school before Christmas is the 16th.
That was this year. It can change next year. You know.
They already have next year's calendar out. So they do the same. Penn City has always done like a week early that I've noticed. So that's why I'm trying to put it this way because of based on the school calendar for Kent City.
So what it comes down to is you want your kids to be together.
Right. And that's the biggest thing is I'm trying to make sure all three of my kids are together because for him and his wife, they have all their kids. They don't share custody for their kids. Her two sons, and then they have a brand new baby. They don't share custody. I share custody with my older two kids and Carter. So I'm just trying to work it out to where I have all my kids together so they can celebrate things together. And then also have everything worked out between me and Alex. So there is no fighting on trying to do what's best for Carter. Because it's been a lot of fighting. It's been a lot of back and forth. So he just was prescribed a nasal spray. The insurance isn't going to cover it. So I had to pay for it out of pocket over the counter because insurance won't cover it. And because of that, Alex and his wife are saying that they don't need to give it to him because it's over the counter. It's not prescribed, but it is.
If you show me the prescription, then yeah. But if he don't have a prescription for it, it's not necessary.
I sent you all the paperwork.
I'm not going to give him something that's not needed. He's not going to get any benefit from it.
I have sent you all the medical information, all the notes, the paperwork, everything.
But if it's prescribed, a pharmacy will cover it.
I'm telling you they won't because I just went
Sometimes, I mean, I guess if I don't know that that's really part of the motion, but I mean,
it is.
If doctors recommend that a child take something, it doesn't always mean that it has to be something that's prescribed if it's available over the counter. I mean, doctors recommend kids take, like Claritin or something if they have allergy issues, or Benadryl if they have some kind of reaction to something. I mean, those aren't prescription. Those are over the counter. They're just available. So I don't know if a doctor tells you your child needs something. It could be as needed. Maybe it's not on a specific schedule, but I would certainly have it on hand if it's something a doctor has recommended in writing that the child may need, just because it's available over the counter as opposed to in prescription. Prescription doesn't really mean anything. So I guess, ma'am, to clarify that or clear that up, if the doctor's saying the child needs something and it has to be available over the counter, just get that in writing so that you can show it to Mr.
It is. Yep, it is. It's all in the after visit summary and the doctor's notes that I sent because he just had allergy testing and everything this past Monday, the 30th. So I sent him all of that information.
Okay.
And on that, I have
Sir, what do you want to do for Christmas holiday? Huh?
I think it should be set in stone every year is the same, whether it's exchanges 8 p.m. Christmas Eve, noon on Christmas Day. It's not the fact, I don't care when it is, but to have that many exchanges, that's not right. I think it should be like Christmas Eve, 8 p.m. Sure. Christmas Day, noon. Should be the same from odd years to even years, and not with, what is there, 4 or 5 even years, 5 exchanges or whatever it would be.
Well, the problem that
You just want one exchange in the middle. You don't want the three segments like the policy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is you got one in the beginning, you'll have one right around Christmas Day where there's Christmas Eve at 8, Christmas Day at noon. At that center one don't really bother me because each year it will counteract itself. And then should be New Year's at noon, like parenting time says. New Year's Day or New Year's Day at noon.
All right, so ma'am, what years do you have your other children on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day?
Well, I actually have my 2 older children every year, Christmas Eve into Christmas morning. The reason why it's not the same with Carter is because the last one of the motions that we filed, Alex did not like that. He wanted to be able to have Carter overnight on Christmas Eve every other year. That's why we ran into this.
All right, so under this, the way it is, if we change nothing, according to the policy, you would have all of them together every other year. Christmas Eve into Christmas morning. And when you have a split custody situation or, a situation like this, I don't think you can reasonably expect or demand to have them every year just to align with your other kid. You can celebrate Christmas any day you want. The tree is up, you got the presents, you got the food. It doesn't really matter, fundamentally, if it occurs on the 24th and 25th. You make the best of it.
That's why we agreed. We agreed that every other year he would get Carter Christmas Eve night. And what I'm just trying to do is the years that he gets Carter Christmas Eve night, he has them through New Year's Eve. That's all I'm asking. That he gets the second half break. He picks Carter up at 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and he has them through the 1st.
I don't know. I think it's too confusing. I'd just leave it with the language that's in the reasonable parenting time policy.
Well, then I don't have my kids all together during Christmas break, so I can't schedule things with them or have my family come and visit.
Like I just said, when you've got split custody situations, I don't think you can reasonably expect that you're always going to be able to have all your kids together at the same time. It'll happen on occasion. It'll happen when it does.
It doesn't ever happen with Alex.
Well, okay.
That's my problem. That's why I'm requesting this, and it's not really that confusing.
But you get kids over break at some point.
I will get Carter on even years. I get Carter on the second half of break. So I would pick him up on the 26th and have him through starting school again on even years. Odd years, because it's already scheduled that Alex has him from 8 p.m. New Year's Eve. So if we switch it, then odd years, he gets Carter at 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve. I get him back on the 26th, and then he gets him back on New Year's Eve. There's a lot more exchanges if we go by the reasonable parenting time policy, because Kent City gets out the week before Christmas. And then they go back on the 2nd of January, 2nd or 3rd, depending on whatever that Monday or Tuesday is.
If you follow the policy, there would be 2 exchanges one year and 4 the next.
But it's not, because if you look at our last order, that's not how it's followed. Our last order was different because of the Christmas. Our last order is why we're in this mess.
Which is why I think it needs to go back to the Reasonable Parenting Time Act on Christmas, for the Christmas break.
We have always done where I got Christmas Eve with my kids, and I agreed to this because you wanted to have one overnight on Christmas Eve. You wanted every other year, you wanted to wake up with him Christmas morning.
That should I should be able to. I'm his father. I should at least get every other year on Christmas morning.
All right,
And
so
that's what you get.
except as stated in paragraphs 4 or 5, so. Winter break schedule shall be suspended from 10 a.m. Christmas Eve to 10 a.m. on December 26th. Or just to split that time. How far apart do you guys live?
He lives in
About an
Greenville.
hour.
Currently, I live in Coopersville, but I am going to be moving closer to Kent City by the end of the summer.
You live an hour apart, and
I do all the transportation pretty much for Carter, except for when we meet. I still have to pick him up from school or daycare and bring him over to the meeting spot. So this is the one time I'm just asking, back and forth that we would provide the transportation and not me.
Which I can go pick him up on whether it's the 24th at 8 or Christmas at noon. I don't care about that. I don't like the 4 exchanges we have during Christmas break, or 5, 6, whatever it is. It should be first day break, whether it's Christmas Eve or Christmas and New Year's Day. I think that is more beneficial to Carter than whatever you have written here for even years, because that's a lot on even years.
It's the same thing as our previous order.
so sir, you just want to have the middle time every year, the Christmas Eve to or the Christmas Day to New Year's Day?
No, well, every year it rotates, right? On your Parenting Time Act, the Nuevo County
I
Parenting
had
Time.
forgotten you guys had your own Christmas Eve and day schedule, so I'm trying to
Yep.
decipher that.
Yeah, I tried to go with the Reasonable Parenting Time Act and not the
Yeah.
6 exchanges. I think that's too many.
That's not what was ordered in November of 2021.
Right.
No.
And that's what I was trying to base this off, is what our order was on 2021, and to base the new schedule on that versus when the school gets out. So if his school gets out on the 16th, they don't have school the Friday, the week before Christmas, that Friday. That all I'm asking is that even years is what I'm saying. Even years, I would have Carter through till noon or 10 a.m. on Christmas Day. And then I would go pick him back up on the 26th and have him through New Year's Eve. Or I would get the second half of break. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. Alex would get him the week before Christmas. I would go get him on Christmas Eve, so I could spend Christmas Eve with him. And then I would bring him back to his dad's house for Christmas Day. And then I would pick him back up. And then odd years, then Alex would just have to come get him from me at 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve. And he would have him through the first.
So if you do the math, do you have the same number of days of winter break in a 2-year period?
Yes. We do, or you end up with a little bit more, because I'm trying to do this that way, because like I said, we share custody. I share with my other 2. It is the same every year. My ex gets Christmas Day through normally the whatever week it is, but we alternate weeks. Like this year, I was supposed to have the second half of break because I had New Year's Eve with them. So that way their exchanges wouldn't go through New Year's Eve. Next year, well, this coming Christmas, I'm going to have the first portion of the break. So I would get my kids from the 16th until Christmas morning. And then he would get them from Christmas morning until they go back to school.
Why don't you just exchange on the 26th every year at 10 o'clock? One of you has them from the day school gets out until the 26th at 10, and then the other one has them, and you alternate that so that
I'm fine with that.
one exchange during the holiday. And you're rolling the dice because there may be more time beforehand or more time after, you never know, but then you're only exchanging the one time.
But then that would give one parent wouldn't have Christmas Eve or Christmas Day one year.
Well, I know, but like I said, I mean, you can
But
celebrate
the next year,
holidays. I
on the
mean,
next year, they would have both.
I
I'm
understand,
sure.
but what I'm trying to get is that
So exchange at 3 o'clock on Christmas Day then, and then you're getting part of Christmas Day.
I have, it's whatever, I guess. I'm not gonna win because he doesn't.
Well, I'm trying to take both points of view into consideration here, and it was already,
I
what,
don't
what's
have any.
changed? Well, let me ask you this, what's changed since it was specifically ordered in paragraph 4 in that 2021 order? What's different now than what was in
Because
place?
of what happened over this last break is we had it set up where he said I was taking second half. I said, or no, he said he had first half of break. I said, okay, that works. I had scheduled everything for daycare and everything around when he said he was going to get the kids. My older two kids were at their dad. The day before he was supposed to pick up Carter, he changed it and decided he was getting second part of the break. So then I had to rearrange everything and rearrange all of my daycare. And he didn't even get them for that weekend, his weekend either. And so I came up with this, trying to make sure that we both get our Christmas Day schedule, because that was what's most important to me, is to have all of my kids on Christmas Eve, because that is when my family celebrates it. We don't celebrate it any other day. And I only have my sister up here now. I don't have any other family around. So we have always done it this way. Since day one, since the day that me and Alex got together, we've always done Christmas Eve with my family, and he knows that.
Doesn't paragraph 4 give you the children on Christmas Eve?
It does, but it doesn't account for the rest of the break. That is my problem of what he did to me last year.
Okay, but there's a disagreement this year. Maybe just make paragraph 4 ironclad. You don't change it. It is what it is. And it's not able to be changed. Then you keep Christmas Eve every year, because that's what that was designed to encompass, I guess. But that's what the court order is for, is to protect you so that you know what time you have. You really shouldn't be agreeing to things that are outside of what that paragraph says.
Well, the only thing that we were trying to do is the rest of break, because that doesn't go through the whole entire break schedule.
Well, it does, because it says you have the holiday parenting time schedule according to reasonable parenting time, except that it carved out a suspension of that policy from 10 a.m. Christmas Eve to 10 a.m. on the 26th. So other than that, you follow what the policy says, except for that 48-hour period. And that guaranteed you Christmas Eve.
All right, well, then I'll just I'll make sure that my ex with my other two will be switching break with me. I'll work with him because he's actually one that will work with me and co-parent.
All right, so I'll enter an order with all that other stuff, but not changing the 2021 order as it relates to winter break.
Hey, sir, can I ask about Thanksgiving break? Because this is not worded right. It says father will get last day of break to Friday at 6 p.m. each year.
I meant first day of break. I did mistype that. He would get the day school lets out until Friday night, and then I get Friday till Monday morning, because he doesn't take Carter to school anyway, so we exchange on Sundays.
Thanksgiving will be as follows. Father will get first day of break to Friday at 6, and mother will starting Friday at 6 to return to school.
Yeah, because they let out like a day or two per the reasonable parenting time. I saw that. This year it was a little hectic because I didn't get Carter back until Sunday, so I wasn't able to celebrate Thanksgiving with him and my family. So I'm just asking that we split Thanksgiving break kind of in half. Like, he gets them through Thanksgiving, and all I'm asking is that Friday I get him instead of Sunday.
So instead of one parent getting the whole long weekend every other year? You want to split that weekend up every year?
Yeah, I think it's fair for Carter. I mean, he gets suspended with both families.
That he gets, but then under this, Mr. Kenny would get Thanksgiving Day every year until Friday at 6?
Yes. Yes, because my family doesn't celebrate on Thanksgiving because half the time none of us can get together. So we plan it for that Saturday.
All right, so I guess, sir, with that clarification that was supposed to be first and not last, you're okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted clarification on, because it
All
says last day of break. There's no point in getting him on the last day of break if he goes back to school.
Oh, that would be
I
bad.
meant first.
All right.
So
All right.
I guess, what did you agree upon for winter break then, sir?
I'm just leaving it the way it is.
So Parenting Time Act, and then Christmas Eve, she gets every year.
Whatever that 2021 order says. It's the parenting time policy suspended from 10 a.m. Christmas Eve till 10 a.m. on the 26th. And then you've got your schedule for that 48-hour period that's spelled out in the order. I'm not changing it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
There was one other thing I wanted to touch on. I know you can't force him to take Carter, obviously. But we've had issues to where he won't go and pick up Carter if I'm not able to provide transportation because of a surgery. So I have a surgery coming up in March. I'm going to be off of work for 2 weeks. He can't take Carter to school is what he's saying. So I have it figured out for that week, but I'm going to need him to pick up Carter that Friday, which is his weekend, from daycare or school.
How do you otherwise exchange the child?
We meet at a meeting spot.
6 p.m. at a carpool at M57 and 131.
That must be in a different order yet. That's not in the 2021 order.
No,
No,
that was established before.
That's been
And
that
I
way for
adhere
the
to it.
last 2.5 years.
I'm having a surgery next month and I'm not going to be able to drive that Friday.
We already discussed that. We'll be at state anyways, remember? For wrestling. I already discussed that. He won't be at school Friday because of wrestling states. We've
No,
already
I don't
discussed.
remember that. So I apologize.
So it's not an issue?
No.
No.
All right. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
No.
All right. You're all set then. I'll do that order. You get it mailed in a few days.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.